Bay Area has a huge problem with homelessness, with addiction. We're living in the epicenter of a community that's addicted, that's poor, and that doesn't know a way out, doesn't feel they have a way out.
There's multiple reasons why people end up on the streets and why people become addicted, from family of origin issues or just mental health issues.
Incarcerated, coming out of prison, abusive situations, families that are split, basically lives that have been disrupted.
Even though they've been addicted to whatever their substance was, I think all of us have a responsibility to look at the homeless and say, what's my part in alleviating that suffering?
With Drug Medi-Cal coming into place in Contra Costa County, it separated time with helping a client into a shorter time where a person doesn't have the ability to get sober and really practice these principles and learn how to apply them to life.
So we started by getting to know some of the churches in the area that had a homeless feeding ministry that they had been doing for some time. They had been building relationships with people, and those relationships had deepened to the point where their folks were ready to get recovery, and they didn't know where to send them.
Since our resources are so limited, we have to be very focused. We want to focus on things that are successful, where we see that God is really moving and doing something, and we want to jump in and join in with something like that, and that's Restore.
It was God's timing and God's plan. We opened up our first house here in Concord, and we've been in that same house since 2012, and it's still running. It's our men's recovery house, and it's been going strong. We've increased to 2 other houses, one for men in aftercare. So after they finish with the recovery program, they can go to this other house and have the freedom to get jobs, full-time jobs, and be out in the community more. And then for our women, it's for women that have children and they're working on reunification. And it's also an aftercare house where they get full-time jobs, learn how to manage their lives under a safe umbrella.
At Restore, we're allowed to really meet that client where they're at and treat them as an individual. And in any situation when someone's coming into something that is new, especially when you're newly sober or newly out of jail, it's scary. And when they come in, our clients immediately feel love. They go from being a client to a resident. They come in the door as a number, and once they're inside, they become a person. And that makes a huge difference. When you can start walking alongside someone at the beginning of their journey, it changes the trajectory of that journey, changes where they land.
This isn't just an addiction recovery place. This is a place where people find their way by first finding their relationship with their Father. And once they get that relationship properly located, then they can begin the process of restoring themselves and all the other relationships that they have. We're trying to restore the whole person in the light of Christ.
As we look to the future of Restore, we need to come up with 4 foundations to live by, to build a home on. The first foundation being spiritual and how to keep God in the center. Second one being team formation and how we need to build each other up instead of break each other down. The third being the facility, the place they are that is safe and kept safe. And finances is a big one because we need to be good stewards for what God's given us. And what He's given us is a new hope, a new life. We have to be responsible for what everybody gives us. That we need to use every dollar, every cent that's used for this ministry according to His will and not ours.
We also offer More Than a Meal homeless outreach. We get the opportunity to go serve in our community. We go out there with the intention of sharing our stories about Jesus and about how God is showing up in our lives and how God can change their lives as well.
our folks are growing so much spiritually that it just rubs off on everybody, and everybody is blessed by what God is doing here.
And when they become part of something, then it changes their belief system that they could be more than what they are. Restore can be that light for God to show people how to get to God. And without partnerships in doing so, we're all lost. And these lives would not be changed without like New Hope or Hillside or CPC or partnerships with Loaves and Fishes, White Pony, Oasis for bringing in a Bible study once a week. God is doing a work at Restore, through Restore.
I love partnering with Restore because God is moving here. I love what God is doing with the people. Our resources are limited, and we want to be very focused about where we volunteer and where we invest in the community. We want to invest where God is doing something, and that's Restore.
I think expansion is not just numerical, how many people are in our program, or how many meals that we might give out in a week. It goes beyond that. It goes to what specific services do people really need, so that they can begin this restoration journey.
God says he so loved me that he gave his life for me, and that I should die to my sins and follow him, and he will give me a new identity. And that's what we're trying to teach. That's the ministry as a whole, to not only restore, but everybody we come in contact with. Because isn't that the real mission? To go after the one who feels lost.